Yuki, Kanao, and Inosuke were resting in the remains of Doma's den, trying their best to patch up the injuries they had sustained. Kanao was looking pretty bad, having many deep wounds covering her arms and legs. Inosuke wasn't much better, having a deep gash across his torso. Yuki had removed her haori, ripping it into pieces and using it to tie off all of their wounds. Kanao offered hers to tie off her own wounds, but Yuki denied the offer, wanting to not have the haori in the first place, since she didn't want it to get in the way while attacking other demons. Yuki hadn't really had issues with her haori before, but she'd rather be safe than sorry, knowing that they would be fighting Kibutsuji sooner rather than later. Yuki finished tying off Kanao's wounds before looking over them one more time. "How are your wounds feeling?" she asks, making sure the wraps are tied tight enough.
"They feel okay. They're still pretty sore, but it's manageable,"
she responded, wincing a bit as she tried to get up. Yuki frowned, seeing her wince from that pain, before gently pushing her back down.
"Take a bit longer to rest. We're going to need you at as close to full strength as possible."
Oh, come on! We can't keep sitting here and doing nothing. We need to keep fighting,
Inosuke said, standing up and getting into Yuki's face.
"You shouldn't even be fighting at all,"
Yuki shouted, her eyes starting to glow as an intimidation tactic.
"Your injuries are much more severe than Kanao's." "I don't care. We need to kill Kibutsuji." "You think I don't know that? So many others are probably already fighting him, and potentially severely injured or already dead. I cannot afford to have any more casualties. Both of you are heavily injured, which puts you both at even greater risk. I don't want either of you to die, okay?"
she says, her voice filled with worry as she paces back and forth around the room.
Hey. Calm down, Yuki. Don't get yourself so worked up.
Kanao says, pulling herself off the ground to rest a hand on Yuki's shoulder.
We knew what we were getting into when we agreed to come on this mission. We know that we would be risking our lives. Even if we end up dying, we die protecting the ones we love, as well as the innocent people who don't know about demons at all.
"Yeah, it doesn't matter if we live or die, because we would have died with honor,"
Inosuke chimed in, giving her a rough pat on the back. Yuki couldn't help but chuckle, hearing their reasoning, and smiled.
Thank you. Both of you. If you're sure about continuing on, even with your injuries, I won't stop you. If only my powers could heal your injuries, then we wouldn't be at the disadvantage heading into this final battle. I would...
Yuki had placed a hand onto one of Kanao's injuries, taking a deep breath and trying to channel her powers to heal her, not expecting anything to happen. As she held her hand there, her hand began to glow a pale blue. Yuki was surprised that it started to glow, pulling it back in a panic, worrying that she was making the injury worse. Kanao was also surprised and felt a tingling underneath the wrap on her arm where the injury was. Out of curiosity, Kanao began to remove the wrap, seeing the once open wound was now closed, only leaving a scar where it once was. Her eyes widened in surprise, looking up at Yuki.
How did you do that?
She asked, staring at Yuki in disbelief. Yuki looked at her arm, coming back and looking at the lone scar now there. Her eyes were wide, not believing she had just healed the injury.
I don't know. You don't know?
She asked, looking at her with a confused look.
Well, what were you thinking about when it happened?
Well, I was thinking about your wound being healed while I held my hand above it.
Do you think you could try it again?
Yuki was hesitant about trying to do it again.
Are you sure? What if something goes wrong?
Don't worry. You did it once, and nothing bad happened. Just trust in yourself and your abilities.
Yuki took a deep breath, taking a step forward and raising a hand to another one of her injuries. She closed her eyes, focusing her mind once again to try and heal another wound. As she channeled her power once more, her hands began to glow that pale blue light once more. She remained relaxed, feeling her power flowing through her body. Her hair began to glow as well as the markings on her face. She opened her eyes, then filled with a calmness as another one of Kanao's injuries healed, once again leaving only a lone scar. Yuki smiled as she watched it heal, feeling that relief washing over her.
I did it! I can actually heal your injuries!
Kanao softly smiled, seeing her happiness.
I told you that you could do it. You just had to believe in yourself.
I'm surprised you were actually able to pull it off, Inosuke said, walking up to Yuki himself. How about you heal me and her up completely, then we can keep making our way through this maze of a lair. Yuki chuckled as she raised both of her hands.
All right. Both of you hold still. Once they are fully healed, we can keep moving.
Yuki closed her eyes again, focusing all of her energy into healing the both of them. After a few minutes, both of them were completely healed. That's a lot better. Let's get going, Inosuke shouted, running out of the room and going to search for more demons to kill. Yuki chuckled, but felt a bit lightheaded. She had exerted a lot of energy healing the both of them, and felt weak. Kanao noticed how she was stumbling a bit and went to help her.
Are you alright?
She asked, looking a bit worried.
I'm okay. Just overexerted myself a bit.
Do you want some of your medicine? It'll help.
We only have 2 vials left. I can't afford to use them now,
she said, taking a deep breath.
Are you sure? I don't want Kibutsuji to try anything if you're in this weakened state.
Yuki sighed before she nodded her head.
Fine. Just make it quick. We don't have time to waste just standing around.
Kanao nodded, quickly getting Yuki's medicine ready and giving it to her intravenously. Yuki winced slightly at the quick needle puncture, but she felt the medicine doing its work, feeling the lightheadedness going away. She sighed before she straightened her posture and stretched.
That's much better. Thank you.
Kanao nodded, but before she could answer, she could hear Inosuke yelling from outside. What's taking you both so long? Come on, we got demons to kill! Kanao and Yuki both chuckled before going out of the room to see Inosuke was already pretty far ahead. They walked the twisting halls of the Infinity Castle once more. The corridors were just as confusing as they were the first time. None of them knew where they were going, nor did they want to get lost within the confines of these walls. While they continued to walk through the halls, Yuki started to experience something strange. She felt as if she was seeing through someone else's eyes. She took a step back as the visions flooded her mind, becoming clearer. As she opened her eyes, she saw that Tanjiro, Giyu, and Kyojuro were standing there before her with blades drawn. Yuki tried to call out to them, but her voice had been completely silenced. She was confused with what she was seeing, only able to listen and watch what was unfolding.
This is the end for you! I don't care if we have to fight until the sun rises. You will meet your end by the time the sun rises.
Tanjiro, don't let him get to you. You know that he'll use your weaknesses to his advantage. Don't let him.
Remember what we taught you, young Kamado. Use your techniques and defeat Kibutsuji once and for all.
Kibutsuji? She thought to herself, before hearing that sinister laugh that always sent chills down her spine when she heard it. You really are fools thinking you can defeat me. I'll make sure all of you meet your end tonight and exterminate the rest of the demon slayers. She helplessly watched as she charged right towards Kyojuro, aiming right for his throat. Yuki's eyes widened, but before she could do anything, she lost her connection. But not before hearing Kibutsuji's mocking tone echoing through her head. I warned you what would happen if you didn't give me that information. Now I'll make sure you have nothing left to live for. Yuki stumbled back, gasping for air as she came back to her senses. She felt very disoriented, but Kanao's soft voice snapped her out of her shock.
Are you alright, Yuki? What was that just now?
Yuki was breathing heavily, taking a moment to compose herself. The sudden shock of what she had just seen completely overwhelmed her, shaking her to her very core. She eventually took a deep breath to compose herself to the best of her ability, before looking at Kanao with a serious face.
We need to find Kibutsuji. Now.
What? But why, Yuki?
Because Giyu, Tanjiro, and Kyotaro are all going to die if we don't.